Nova Studios. Intelligent, creative, limitless. Like, comment, follow, subscribe.
The night sky stretched infinitely, a velvet canvas draped in shimmering stardust and drifting amber lanterns. Far beyond the clamor of the waking world, where silence held weight, Nova sat alone on the crest of a grassy hill. She pulled her knees to her chest, fingers tracing the cool metal frame of a small handheld lantern. Below the hill, the magical city pulsed with a frantic, rhythmic glow. The lights of the city flickered like a restless heartbeat, blurring into a chaotic haze of neon and shadow. Nova watched the city, then looked down at her own lantern. The golden flame inside flickered, steady and calm. She sat motionless, the grass beneath her damp with the evening dew. The contrast was absolute. Above, the stars burned with a cold, distant precision. Below, the city churned in a cycle of noise and light. She kept her gaze fixed on the golden flame held between her palms. It was the only point of stability in a landscape defined by movement. The stillness on the hill held for a long moment, undisturbed by the world below. Then, the wind shifted. It surged upward from the valley, carrying the raw, jagged sound of the city. It was not just light anymore, it was a physical weight. The muffled roar of thousands of voices and the grinding of gears crested the ridge, hitting the hillside with sudden force. Nova flinched. Her shoulders snapped upward, tensing against the intrusion. She turned her head, eyes darting toward the neon haze. The sound pressed against her ears, a relentless, rhythmic thrumming that defied the silence of the night. She shifted her weight, digging her heels into the soft earth to anchor herself. The wind whipped her hair across her face, stinging her skin. But she did not look away. Every gust brought a new wave of sound, a chaotic surge. She gripped the lantern tighter, the metal frame biting into her palms. The air grew heavy with the vibration of the distant machinery, and for the first time, the hill felt less like a fortress and more like a target. The roar of the city intensified, vibrating through the ground and into her bones. Nova felt the panic rising, a sharp, cold sensation in her chest that mirrored the chaotic flickering of the lights below. She did not run. Instead, she pressed her palms firmly against the glass of the lantern. The heat was immediate, a sharp, grounding warmth that seeped through her skin and into her muscles. She closed her eyes, shutting out the neon haze. She focused entirely on the lantern. Inside the glass, the golden flame pulsed with a slow, rhythmic beat. She drew a breath, holding it until her lungs burned, then released it, in time with the light. The thrumming of the city began to fade, muffled by the intensity of her focus. She pressed harder, her knuckles turning white, against the metal frame, forcing her attention away from the noise and onto the steady, unwavering glow. The whispering fear in the back of her mind slowed, losing its edge as she matched her heart rate to the rhythm of the flame. The air around her grew still. The pressure against her ears subsided, replaced by the soft, golden radiance that now spilled from her hands, illuminating the grass in a circle of calm. She opened her eyes. The city was still there, but it no longer held the power to shake her. Nova pushed herself upright, the dry grass rustling sharply beneath her boots. She did not glance back at the neon pulse of the city. Instead, she turned toward the valley. She held the lantern high, its golden beam cutting a clean arc through the night air. With every step, a fine, shimmering dust drifted from the light, settling onto the blades of grass like fallen stars. The ground sloped downward, uneven and thick with shadows. She moved with deliberate intent. As she reached the valley floor, the light caught a cluster of silver leaves. Stones embedded in the earth began to glow. Nova paused, lifting the light to trace the path. The trees stood like silent sentinels. She stepped over the threshold of the forest. The city behind her was now just a distant, flickering memory. The trees closed ranks behind her, swallowing the last of the city's chaotic glow. The muffled roar of the streets died away, replaced by the soft, rhythmic crunch of her boots on the forest floor. Every flicker of the lantern light revealed new textures. She walked until the horizon behind her was empty of neon. The silence here was not heavy. It was expansive. She looked up. Through the canopy, the stars hung like brilliant, cold diamonds against the velvet dark. Her silhouette moved steadily forward. The lantern light remained constant, a steady companion. She did not look back. The path ahead was clear, disappearing into the heart of the woods, leaving only the faint, shimmering trail of dust.